I want to say 2 words, and then I want to get into this, okay?
Okay, I'm ready.
Diablo Immortal.
Yep.
I made a video on Diablo Immortal a couple of days ago, and it's been my most successful video on YouTube so far. It's gained 1 million views in 3 days, which is ridiculous. Yeah. That's absolutely incredible. And then I put an update out about the legendary crests and how they were all kind of being manipulative. Cal, Diablo Immortal is pretty well monetized. And when I say well, I don't mean as in consumer friendly. I mean, they've thought of everything, haven't they?
This is the sad bit about it. It's almost like they had a dedicated team bigger than the development team of like data analysts just sitting there for 6 years. And I don't mean that as a joke. I mean that genuinely their main focus with this was to put as much R&D into the monetization, the mental manipulation, and like the kind of whole ethos behind their monetization. And it's insane. I don't think any other game company could do what they've done with monetization in 6 years.
If you have a degree in psychology, I was talking to a friend of mine who is studying psychology, and they were talking about job prospects in the future. One of the fastest growing employment areas for anyone with a degree in psychology is game design. Not for quests, not for characters, not for story, for monetization and shop. If you have a degree in mathematics, if you have a degree in psychology, companies want you to design their in-game shops. Let's just talk about all the things, because Diablo Immortal is, I think, going to be a case study in the future, especially in game design courses, for how well you can monetize something.
Oh, 100%. There's no way it won't become the benchmark now.
So one thing I've seen is if a player buys anything, they are statistically more likely to buy something else.
Yeah.
So
the drip feed, isn't it?
Yeah, you want to make that very first purchase as cheap and as inviting as possible, which is exactly why the first couple of purchases are always pennies, if that.
Do you want to know the actual reason for that?
Go on, tell me.
So don't forget this was a mobile game first.
Yeah.
To be able to pay for something through the, let's say, the Play Store, right? Every game needs to get permission to bill you, right? It needs to give you a pop-up saying, is it okay for this game to bill you? Now, that is a potential roadblock for a $20 purchase. However, once you've done it first for a 80 pence purchase...
Oh, God.
The trap has been set.
So you're not necessarily... What you're doing is you're opening the floodgates.
Yeah.
Because
then everything after that's a one-tap purchase.
So it's not going to ask you every time. If the very first purchase was 20 quid and it says, do you really want to spend 20 quid? People are going to click no. But if it says, hey, do you want to spend 50p? And you're like, yes, I do. Then when the 20 quid thing is on screen and you click buy, it doesn't double check with you.
Yeah. Have you ever done this in a mobile game? I mean, I've spent a bit of money in some mobile games, never in any of these wild West microtransaction games. But occasionally you'll think, oh, yeah, I want that. Press buy. And then you have that immediate thought of, probably not the best idea, actually. But you've bought it now. You're not going to have that with the 80 pence transaction, but you may do with a $20 one.
I've only ever spent money in mobile games when I've also done those like surveys. You know, when you sign up for like Google AdSense survey things, and occasionally you'll do a survey and you'll get like 15p sent to your account or something, and then very slowly you have like three or four quid in your survey account, and you just spend that on games. I think I bought that on, I bought like Lemmings or something for 5 quid, which was a really good one. So what they want to do is they want to encourage you to make that first purchase. And the way they encourage you to make that first purchase is we've got a couple of psychological tricks. First of all, they say that it's more than shop price. They say it's percent value. People are saying in chat, and this is Diablo Immortal, 800% value.
Yeah.
I looked into this. In order to buy 60 orbs costs you something like 89p. The 800% value pack contains 60 orbs and a cosmetic weapon skin. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anywhere else in the shop that you can actually buy the cosmetic weapon skin, which means it's only 800% value based on the potential that the cosmetic weapon skin would at some point be worth 8 times 89p, but you can't buy that from the shop anywhere. So it's just a random number they've made up.
Yeah, you see that a lot with Diablo Immortal. They're just using like funny money, basically. Like none of it makes sense. It's just they've thrown numbers, they've thrown words, and by the time you've read all the numbers and words, you just don't care anymore. You don't question it because it's like reading terms and conditions at this point. The reading the fine print.
Oh yeah, no one does it.
It's tedious. You just want the thing so much that you don't question if any of it's true. Yeah. And half the time, it really isn't in Diablo.
So you've got the idea that you must get that first purchase off a player. You must make that first purchase seem super appealing by increasing its value. What if you make it limited time as well? You've got to purchase this within the next 24 hours. Because Candy Crush did that a lot. In fact, I remember reading and talking to a friend of mine who was a game developer back at university, and they said that in games like Candy Crush, the whole match 3 thing, when you got about halfway into the game, those levels were designed to take 1 or 2 more moves to complete. So every time the new candy drops down from the top, it was statistically designed that you would always be 1 or 2 moves short. And then at the end of the level, it would be, hey, you've got, 1 or 2. Do you want to buy an extra 1 or 2 moves for 20p? Specifically designed to do that.
I think it's going to get worse than that, to be honest.
Some games have personalised pricing. Sorry to interrupt you there, but someone actually told me about this because they worked out, and you can use cookies to track this on someone's computer, and you can, the more information you offer the game, the more it knows about you. If you are minimum wage, unemployed, student, it will say to you, hey, do you want to buy this for 50p? But if it realises that actually you're a very high earner, the game will ask you if you want to make exactly the same purchase, but for £10, because to you that has the same level of value.
Yes, and that's kind of where I was going to go with this. AIs that will learn who you are as a person, build a portfolio of you, and then just know the best way to exploit that sort of person. And in fact, there's a game that everybody's heard of that's doing something very similar.
Okay.
World of Tanks.
The amount of adverts that I've seen recently for World of Tanks, man.
They're not doing it with money, though. I just want to clarify that.
Oh, okay.
They're doing it with matchmaking.
Okay. Explain.
So, apparently, there were quite a few tests done on this where a player would, like a professional player on a new account, would keep getting match made with people that were just crushing them. Even though their ranking was way below, they'd get matched with these really high up players. As soon as they purchased a new tank, but then continued to use the tank that they were using, they're suddenly put above the other rank of players.
Okay.
So it's like positive reinforcement. You spent money, you are now better. But you're not. They've just decided who you're match made against to like reinforce that you did a good thing by spending money.
Yep. So you don't spend money, you do a lot of PvP, you die a lot. You do spend money, hey, we'll now pair you in PvP against people who are weaker than you, even if you're using the money of not. So once you haven't spent money, you're fighting powerful people. Once you have spent money, you're fighting weak people, but you don't know they're weak people. All you know is victory.
Yeah. And Kratos says, and then the balance artificially changes again so that you'll buy more. Yeah, it'll slowly drop you down.
Because in Diablo Immortal, it's the same. I read the small print in PvP. It says in PvP that you are paired up against people who are roughly equal to your skill level. So, let's say that you are paired with people who are as skilled as you are. You spend money to have more power than them, just pure more numbers, and you win. You win more and more and more and more and more, and so the game assumes that you are more skillful than you are, and so it now pairs you with people who have a similar win ranking to you, and it's likely not necessarily skill, but gear, because the game has no real way of working out whether it's skill or gear that's getting you the win. It's just you have won.
You've got more potential when you remove the player out of the equation.
Yeah, because the game doesn't know that you're winning because of skill or because of gear. It just knows that you're winning. If you have higher numbers and win, you could still be more skillful or less skillful. All it knows is that you've won.
And someone's just said, I wonder if League of Legends does this. I feel like I can tell when a game wants to give me a free win or an insta-lot.
It'd be silly if it didn't.
This is the thing. Everything is moving towards AI algorithms and learning models. It's going to get to the point where you'd be silly not to.
Talking about League of Legends, I think the League of Legends tutorial is both fantastic and insidious, because I played the League of Legends tutorial recently to see how it was, because a new player experience is super important. People always say to me that I don't play enough of a game to be able to judge the whole game, and I try and say back to people, I'm not trying to judge the entire experience of the whole game, I'm trying to judge the way it's built. The way it's built and the experience that it gives you. In the League of Legends tutorial, I was super happy that I managed to get like a quad kill You know, it's bots. I know it's bots, but I still thought that was pretty impressive. And then I played the tutorial again, and I got it again and again and again. That tutorial is designed to make that situation happen because it makes a player feel awesome.
Yeah.
You play any tutorial, it will throw easy situations at you that make you feel cool. And then when it puts you into fighting regular humans, you very quickly realise that you suck.
It's actually the same kind of concept as these mobile game ads, where it's just like, I failed for 300 attempts. I couldn't do this. And it's literally just like, it's like those cabbie life hack videos where you've just got like a needle stuck into a balloon and it's just like, pull it out then.
Okay, so for anyone wondering in the chat, game ads know they're stupid. I don't know what the game genre is, but you'll be moving forward down a track and there'll be like a gate on the left and a gate.
And
it's
shit,
like, do you want to -10 from your arrows or ×5? And the person kind of ums and ahs and goes to ×5, and you're watching the advert, you're like, yeah, that was the right choice. And then you attack some enemies and it's like -4 × 100, and they go to -4 and you're like, oh, that was the wrong choice. It's designed to irritate you and make you download it just to see if and prove that you can do it better.
And then, have you actually tried downloading any of these?
No, I like my phone.
Right. So, I actually did try downloading some of these.
Because you do not like your phone.
No, I don't like my phone. But I hate it. Can't stand it. I want a new one. But they're not even the game. They are completely, utterly different games. And this has been going on for years, and it has only gotten worse.
Because all they care about is the download.
Yeah. Genuinely, I had someone explain to me why this works. When you download the game, you are given 5 ads back to back to back. And then you're told that once you've finished watching these ads, you will never have ads on the game ever again.
Yep.
So naturally, you sit there and you're like, okay, I'll watch through the 5 ads just to never have to deal with them again.
Yep.
And then the game is the same game as another game under a different name with a different trailer. And they're not even games. They're just a visual thing. You can barely play them. But they got the ad revenue, so they don't care.
There's 2 ways that I looked at it as well. So a couple of months ago, years ago now actually, I love tower defense games. I just have a thing for tower defense. It started on Newgrounds, and I'm really showing my age there, or like flashgames.com, but Newgrounds was it. I loved tower defense games, man. So I would go onto my phone and I would download a load of tower defense games. And I played one. I'm like, okay, cool. You can get an arrow tower for 30 gold, or a defense tower for 40 gold, or you can get a bomb tower for 50. And then I played another game, and it was the same towers for the same price on the same map. The only thing that was different was the art style, very, very, very slightly. And I realised that I'd actually downloaded like 7 of the same game, but with very slight UI changes. It was super weird. And the other one was, someone explained to me that, let's say that you advertise a game exactly as it is. You know, this is the advert, this is the game, 1-to-1. Roughly 80% of the people that download it are going to keep playing it if it's exactly the same. But if you advertise a game as something different, something that everyone wants, like that stupid pull the pin game.
You know that game has never existed until recently when someone actually made it.
And it's crap. I've seen the gameplay of someone that's made it. It doesn't have like physics where the water and the lava flows or the gold coins fall down. It's just blocks of colour moving from side to side.
But can you just take a minute to appreciate this, though? Someone came up with a fairly cool game concept, then made a visualization of it, didn't bother making the gameplay at all, and then sold that cool idea as a pipe dream.
And the reason people download that is because someone said, if you download a game and it's not the game you wanted, about 5% of people keep it. 5% of people can still be more people than would have downloaded the game had you have advertised it correctly. So it's just a numbers game. They want millions and millions of people to download it, so they show you this super cool looking game. You download it, and it's 5% of the mobile gaming market is still absolutely huge. But that pull the pin game, I saw an advert recently of someone saying, hey guys, we finally made that actual pull the pin game. It's crap.
Yeah, it's awful. It's mind-boggling to me. It really is.
So, fake adverts. Can we just take a second? I don't get rendered trailers that are just CGI cutscenes.
Yeah.
When people, I mean, I like Diablo 1, 2, and I actually liked Diablo 3 for the gameplay. The trailer for Diablo 3, nothing like the game. It's just like a CGI trailer flying through.
Yeah.
Looks cool.
A hype trailer.
Yeah, it's a hype trailer. It's nothing else. Just show me the gameplay. Just give me like 5 or 6 minutes of the gameplay. So, Diablo Immortal monetization. Notice how as well they always put the free stuff in the shop, even though it doesn't need to be in the shop. It could just be like a little click here to get free stuff. The way that Guild Wars 2 does it. Just click there, you get some free stuff.
Think about it like this, though. If you were walking down the street and a stranger came up to you and gave you a bottle of water and he's like, no, mate, it's free. That's cool. But if you're in a store where you're spending money and you've got it in your head that you need to spend money and somebody gives you, you know, a store attendant gives you a free bottle of water, that's infinitely more valuable, even though it's literally not.
Yep, because you realise
it's a psychological thing.
I'm in a place that expects money from me, and yet I got this for free. Therefore, this has more value.
Yeah.
Because I can look around and see its value in relation to other stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, Diablo Immortal, remarkably monetized. So what I decided to do, because you and me jumped on Immortal for a bit, didn't we? And we played.
Yeah, we did.
Is there a soft cap on the amount of embers you can get per week? I think it's 200 embers from your own personal rift drops and an extra 120 embers from crests that have been put in by other people in your party. So you can get 320.
It seems to be. It seems to have a cap.
How many?
I've noticed a lot of caps that have been hidden as well.
Yes. So people say, oh, you can just grind as a free player. You really can't. You can get to a level where the grind has diminishing returns.
Yeah, because you know our examples where we said it will take 7 months for a free player to get what I just paid for in 2.5 minutes. And everyone's like, oh, but you're ignoring the fact that that's an average player or a less than average player. No, we're talking about with caps. Physical caps that nobody can exceed as a free player. That's if somebody goes all out for that week.
Yeah.
Every week for a year. It's going to take them the same amount of time.
Now, some people said that, oh, you know, once you've hit the weekly cap, just stop playing. This is another trick the game wants you to do. It actually doesn't want you to be able to grind it. This is really weird. If you force the player to stop and come back later, a couple of things happen. One, you're increasing... I mean, absence makes the heart grow fonder, as they say. If you force the player... If you allow the player to keep playing, they get bored and burn themselves out. Have you ever played those mobile games where you have energy? And, you know, every action you do costs energy. Every time you build something, it costs energy. And when you run out of energy, you restore, like, you know, 1 point an hour or something like that.
Yeah.
It wants you to go away and then come back, because when you come back, a couple of things happen. One, when you log back in, you have to see another advert. And it doesn't want to show you adverts during the gameplay because that'll annoy you. But it wants to show you adverts when you log back in. And two, it can also help increase the company's daily active user count because people log back in every day for it. If you let someone grind something forever, they will burn themselves out. If you force them to take a break every couple of hours, they end up liking it more because they want to get back to it. It remains exciting.
There's another reason for these games that are like... You know, the kind of like wait and come back and do something. There's another reason that these games exist. Push notifications. They can occupy your screen space even when you're not on the game.
Yep.
And you will constantly be reminded every time you pull down to see if you've got a new email or text. Hey, your loot's waiting for you. You can send out another mission.
Someone in chat's just mentioned that you get that big dopamine hit because it keeps progressing when you're offline and you log back in. And what's the first thing you see when you log back into these mobile games? You've gained this, you've advanced this, you've got this, here's your reward, you get this. It is such a massive dopamine rush when you log back in that you want that again and again and again and again and again. And notifications, man. Notifications are absolutely awful. The only notification that I like getting is from Lidl. You know Lidl has an app.
I didn't.
You get free stuff from the bakery.
Oh.
Not an advert, not sponsored, just genuinely quite good. Like, you download the Lidl app, you walk in, you scan the little app, but you get like 20p off a pack of sausages or something. And then every Saturday, I get a little message saying, hey, you've got a free cookie or a free donut. And I'm like, I'm there, done. Not sponsored, just genuinely think the Lidl app is quite a good thing.
That's actually awesome. I live right around the corner from one, so I might as well get that.
They're dangerous, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
They sell your purchase info, by the way. All right, fine. I mean, if people want to know that I've had a bad day and walked into Lidl and bought 5 packs of, ginger biscuits, that's okay.
Thing is, they do that anyway.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to do that.
That's not exclusive to the app.
People always talk about selling data. And now let's get into a controversial topic. The alternative is junk mail through your letterbox. Because we still get junk mail. I walk downstairs in the morning and there's 4 or 5 letters from, like, conservatory people. Hey, your conservatory needs cleaning. I'm like, mate, I haven't got a conservatory. And they're like, here's a leaflet from Papa John's, here's a thing from this, here's a thing from this. Just endless, randomised, blanket junk mail across to everyone.
Yeah.
Customised data means that they know exactly what to send you. Is that good or bad?
I think it's a mix of both. Because if you're someone who is irresponsible with money and you make a lot of impulse buys, this is bad. An example, actually, was I wiped my old PC to reset it up because it's no longer a main PC and, the stream PC. So I'd set it up, I'd reinstalled Windows, not logged into an account or anything. And then the next day, it was showing me advertisements for a steering wheel lock for the exact make of car that I bought 2 days prior.
Yeah.
And I've never Googled that.
Nope.
So
there's
the fact that they find that out, there's a connection somewhere, whether it be the microphone that was active on it or something, I don't know. But that's kind of terrifying, but it's relevant. Now, I know that I don't need to spend £180 on a steering wheel lock. I can get one from Halfords for like 20 quid. But if you're the sort of person that's like, oh, I need that, that's awful, because you're just going to go around buying all the shit you don't really need.
I don't own a horse, but if I owned a horse, I would need horse feed. Everyone in the Twitch chat would need horse feed. Horse feed near me. Horse feed locations. cheap horse feed. And I wonder if me just
buying horse feed.
If me just saying that, if you're in the chat right now and over the next couple of days you start to get adverts for horse feed, please let us know. Because the chat, the amount of people in the chat who own a horse or who currently need horse feed is probably quite low.
Actually, do you know, I want to test something. I want to do an experiment here. Everybody type in the chat, I'm looking to buy horse feed.
Do it.
And let us know in the Discord in like a week or so if you've had any horse feed advertisements.
Horse armour. Oh god, we're going to get adverts for Starfield. But no, in seriousness, what's going to happen is me and Cal have both got Discords. We will put on our individual Discords whether we get adverts for horse feed right now. Can you imagine someone joining the chat right now?
It's just us chanting we need horse feed.
Just walk on. What's going on in here? Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Oh. I have a confession about Diablo.
Okay.
And I think a lot of people will experience this. After that stream, and just to fill people in who missed the stream, me and Josh had been playing with no payment at all. We'd not put a penny into the game. Illidari donated £25 and said, do a 10 crest run just for science. So I did, because it seemed like a good idea. After that stream, I have not logged back into Diablo because I've realised how worthless any of my time in that game is now.
If you aren't putting money into it, there's no point. Someone pointed out something really interesting to me. When you advance the battle pass, you can get runes and you can get a legendary offhand weapon at level 10. If you don't redeem it until you are level 60, it will give you a level 60 offhand weapon. Just don't redeem anything until you're max level, and then when you redeem it all, it kind of scales up to you.
Do you know what? That's probably by design. Because now your incentive isn't to get to level 10. You've got to level 10, but you haven't actually got your reward, even though you, in your head, have, right? Yeah. You've reserved your reward.
Yeah.
But if you get to level 60, you've got an epic reward.
Notice as well that when you purchase the Prodigy's Path, you aren't purchasing the Prodigy's Path when you're at level, Prodigy level 80. You're purchasing it when you're at like level 45-ish, level 50-ish. You're paying 18 quid for the potential of stuff 80 Paragon levels ahead. And if you stop playing before you reach 80 Paragon, you're thinking, I've wasted 18 quid. Oh, did you also know that, there's Eternal Legendary Crest and Legendary Crests? There's a pity system. When you've used 50 crests, you're guaranteed a good drop. The pity system is separate for each crest.
God.
So if you use 40 legendary crests and 40 eternal legendary crests, it's not counting it as 80 crest usage. It's counting as 10 more eternals and you'll get something definitely good, and 10 more regulars and you get something good. But it's impossible right now, literally impossible, to get 50 legendary crests as a free player.
Oh, God.
If you bought every single, all the Prodigy's Path, all this, all that, all the other, all the dungeon things, you would just about be at 50. It's ridiculous.
There's something else that I realised, and I want to make a prediction now. I'm going to be a prophet.
Mm-hmm.
So, did you know that you can only PvP for 2 hours a day at a set time that the battlegrounds are open, and for some countries, these are open at 1 a.m.?
I did not know that.
Right. I'm calling it now. Next microtransaction to be added to the game is Boon of the Warrior or something, where it unlocks it for the full 24 hours.
Just PvP
guarantee
all the time.
It. 100% guarantee it. And if I'm wrong, I will say I'm wrong.
Why would you lock PvP behind a 2-hour period? Well, this actually links in quite nicely to what we were saying earlier. Remember earlier
Burnout.
when we mentioned that if a player can grind something forever, they burn out and get bored? But if you have like energy systems in mobile games where they can only do something for a limited amount of time, then they think about it and come back and want to do it more. You are literally saying, hey, 2 hours worth of PvP. And what does that make you think? If you've only got 2 hours to think and you want to win, what are you going to do?
Yeah, you're gonna just come back, you're gonna play, you're gonna pay if you have to, you're gonna
pay.
Yeah.
You're gonna pay.
And every time I see a system and I'm like, why have they done that? I have to remind myself it's a mobile game, and then suddenly it all makes sense.
Do you think it would have been better had they not released on PC?
I think it would have definitely helped the sting, because the people who were pissed off that it was mobile would never have played it. The people who were pissed off that it was mobile are now playing it because it's no longer just mobile, and they're seeing all the flaws that they predicted.
Do you think the monetary gain that they have seen by releasing on PC is worth the marketing hit that they've taken?
Yeah. This is the sad thing, and I've never said this about a game, but unfortunately, this game was financially successful.
Oh, God, yeah. Absolutely. Without a doubt.
Wildly. First 24 hours, the game was financially successful.
Before we finish,
that now reinforces that Diablo 4 is going to come out, and everyone's like, "Oh, just wait for Diablo 4." You know, if you don't like the microtransactions, do you really think they're going to develop a game that cost 8 times the amount to develop, and then not take all this money that's lying there on the table in front of them? No, you are going to be milked in that game too.
I read the small print of Diablo 4.
Oh, God.
They are currently hiring a developer for the shop. They want someone to run the Diablo 4 microtransaction shop. You can find the job advert on the Blizzard website. But the way they have worded it is interesting. They have said it's just cosmetic, but they haven't said it's just cosmetic. They have said that they are building a microtransaction shop, and this is the exact phrase they used, anchored around cosmetics.
There we go, then.
Anchored around. Not
don't
only.
Forget Diablo Immortal promised from day one there would be no buying gear or buying power at all. But they've done it by proxy. You buy things that give you instant power.
They don't count gems as gear, sorry. They say gems aren't gear.
Yeah. It's just mental gymnastics to justify what they said.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. If it's not called gear in-game, that's a different thing. It is gear.
Yeah.
It is a power-derived item.
You can't buy gear, but gear is just stuff you equip on your character. Gems are things you put into gear. They're just using semantics to win this debate.
They could have gone one further. You can't buy swords. But this Warhammer that's on the
that's fine.
on the shop has the same stats as that sword.
Yeah.
So we're not lying to you guys. You can't buy swords.
Who here right now genuinely thinks that Diablo 4 will have a reasonable cash shop? I don't think it will.
No.
I think Diablo 4 will have some... Will it have a battle pass? Will it have leagues? Will it have seasons? Someone said to me, look, Josh, there's just no way that you can make a game like this and just not have a microtransaction shop. There is no way you can release a Diablo game and not have a microtransaction shop. And I went, mate, what was Diablo 2?
We've been doing it for decades. Successfully.
Someone said to me, yeah, but this is a live service game. It doesn't have to be. Yeah. Not every single game is designed to last for eternity. It is completely possible to design a game, release a game, have people enjoy the game, maybe even make an expansion, and then make another game. Morrowind did it really bloody well. Here's a good game. That was fun. Here's an expansion. That was good. Here's another expansion. That's great.
And
here's Oblivion.
There's a philosophy here on a game that I think a lot of people will have opinions about, but we're not talking about the game itself, just the philosophy behind it. Halo Infinite. They're aiming for that game to last the next 10 years at least. You buy the base game. They have cosmetics for multiplayer only. And it's their business model. They're then going to release large expansions of extra game that would have otherwise been full games into this game. It's a whole ecosystem that is sort of a live service to support the ongoing nature of this game. If they pull it off how they said they're going to do it, that's perfect. They could have done that. They literally could have done that with Diablo.
Not every single game needs to last forever. Live service, games as a service. When you say games as a service, it's literally changing. It's no longer a game. It's not a game that you buy and play. It's a service.
It's a service. Yeah. In fact, someone's just said something incredibly interesting. Did the other Diablo games have hardcore mode?
I don't know.
I think they did, didn't they? Diablo 2 and 3 had hardcore modes, I believe.
People in the chat are saying yes, and I'm inclined to agree with the chat. They're probably correct. Yes, they did, all of them.
All of them, right. Why does Diablo Immortal not? Because they wouldn't be able to have the store if they straight up took away your money. They have taken content away to legitimize their excuse for what they've done. Because otherwise, they straight up could not do it. Because they'd have to refund the items to the next character or something else, and it would be wasted development time.
Wow. Buy this rebirth token. You know for a fact, if Diablo Immortal had a hardcore mode, they would sell 2 versions of gear or gems. They would sell, like, bound through life, bound through death gems,
but
that kind of
then
stuff.
that would destroy their business model.
Oh, of course it would.
Because then the question would be, why can't I transfer that to my other character?
Why can't we just have... And this is what impressed me about Path of Exile. There's just one server. So as soon as you make a character wherever you are, you just play with other people, which I thought was good.